Hello, Tim, Copperhead Ag here. Today we're going to be installing the gauge wheel arm repair kit on a white Series 9000 planter. Just going to walk you through what we're doing here in this video. So we'll start from the beginning. Obviously we got to take that gauge wheel arm off itself. And we do this by taking that retaining cap screw off, and then there's a snap ring that needs to come out here, and then what's easiest for me is to thread that bushing out a little bit to get the arm off of the pin, and then once it's off the pin, then it's a lot easier just to pull right off. And then you can finish off by taking the bushing off all the way, and it's really actually not necessary. You can just drive that bushing right back in, and then once you have that bushing drive all the way back in, you take the washer that's got the largest inside diameter and it slides over the pin. It'll be really easy to see which one that is because it's the only one that's going to fit over the pin. And then you can go ahead and you can take your gauge wheel arm and slide it back onto the pin. You see there's a washer on there. That one was left over. We got to get rid of that. Make sure you're lined up with your depth stop or your depth control pin and get it snug on there. The next thing we're going to do is we have our adjusting assembly. So you can see that, and then we're going to put the concave washer on so it's concaved up, then the key lock washer, and then the thickest washer, and then we have 3 of the small shim washers that are going to go on that as well. Once you get all that on, we have our bolt that you're going to put the double stacked washers on that are stuck together. That goes through the adjusting assembly, and then there's another set of double stacked washers that you're going to go ahead and put back on top of that bolt. And then the thick bushing, and that's going to go over the threaded bushing in the arm. Then we're going to drive that all the way in. In the instructions, it might have a torque spec. Important part is just to get this good and tight. We don't want to be snapping that bolt off or leaving it loose in the field. So just get your bar on it, get it tight, use your judgment here. And then the next part is we're going to adjust how tight that big lock nut is, and that's what gives us that tension of squeezing that arm from the sides. And again, squeezing the arm from the sides on that flat surface is what keeps this gauge wheel tight and straight. So we're not relying on the pin to be perfect or the inside of the gauge wheel arm to be perfect. So we tighten that until the arm stays, and then we back that lock nut off until that arm falls under its own pressure. Once it falls, then we know we got it tight enough that it's going to keep it tight to that disc opener. You're going to keep the mud loose enough that that arm is going to move by itself. The last thing I want to touch on is these white arms have a really nice flat spot here you can see where you can drill and tap and put a grease circuit in there, and then that makes this arm greasable. I would suggest that to almost anybody anytime you have a movable joint where you have metal on metal. If you can get grease in there, it's really going to help. And with the RK products, squeezing those washers from the side, that does an excellent job of holding grease in the arm, so you're not worried about bringing dust in and getting those arms seized up. So it's not included in the kit yet. It might be something we look at moving towards, but if you have some time, ingenuity, want to do this, I think it would really help increase the life of your gauge wheel arm as well. So a good option. Here's a picture of it with it in, what the grease circuit would look like with the RK Products arm. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out to Copperhead Ag. Check us out at copperheadag.com. Also, it's a huge help if you guys can like these videos and subscribe to them. The way the Google and YouTube stuff works, if we get enough people doing that, then I can start kind of importing better graphics into these videos and kind of links, and you can click on it and go right to the page. Right now we don't have enough to do that, but we're working there. You guys are doing a great job helping us out. So thanks again. Feel free to reach out with any questions, or if you want to get a set coming, we have this stuff in stock all the time. We produce it all in-house right here in the United States of America. Thanks, guys.